Now, some of you guys might remember way back in the day, a long time ago, I hiked the Lost Coast Trail with a few buddies of mine. I put a video out on my YouTube channel. You might have seen it, but chances are you haven't because that was a long time ago. But anyways, I'm back here on the Lost Coast Trail with my buddy Kang. It's a 25-mile section of the Northern California coast. It's the only stretch of the California coast where they did not build the Pacific Coast Highway along because it's just a very treacherous stretch of the coast. The hike is extremely rugged, it's extremely remote, it's beautiful. There are certain sections that you can't pass during high tide because the ocean comes in so close to the coast. So if you're gonna do this hike, you definitely have to make sure to stay on top of that, which we definitely planned accordingly. Anyways, we're gonna get hiking because we've got a lot of miles to cover, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. We're taking an early break because although this isn't supposed to be an intertidal impassable zone, the tide is coming in really high, so we're playing it safe, and we've decided to just wait it out a bit until the tide recedes a little lower. It's all good though, we got our snacks. It's about lunchtime anyways, so we're just gonna wait it out. This hike isn't exactly that strenuous from the traditional elevation gain standpoint. It's not that steep. There's not much incline at all. It's relatively flat for most of the way, but bear in mind that you're hiking miles and miles across the beach through deep sand, gravel, rocks, all of that kind of stuff, which over a certain period of time, it gets pretty annoying, but honestly, it's definitely worth it in my opinion because hiking along the beach is a very rare experience, especially backpacking. So if you ever have the opportunity, I would definitely recommend. So we're passing through the first intertidal zone. It's about 4 miles, and I mentioned it earlier, but this is basically a stretch of the beach where at high tide, the tide comes way in and it gets very sketchy if you're trying to pass through these zones during high tide. So if you're gonna do this hike, make sure that you're staying on top of tide times because it's very, very important. In fact, people in the past have died on this trail because they got swept out to sea during a high tide, or rogue waves will come in every now and then and knock you off your feet as well. So you definitely want to be vigilant if you're going to do this hike, and remember, safety is always number one. I don't know how well you could tell in the footage, but if you look, all the sand on this stretch of the beach is wet. So that means that the tide comes all the way up to there. So if you get caught in one of those high tide spots, then as you can see, your only chance is scrambling up the hill, which is very steep. So that definitely would not be ideal. So this is the type of terrain that I was talking about. where it gets pretty annoying and burdensome to walk on. And it's just like this for good stretches up the trail. It's hot. It's hot out here. Temperature wise, not that bad, but we've just been under the blaring sun for the entire hike. We've hiked about, I think, eight and a half, maybe a little less, give or take, miles, and we're stopped, just gonna have a snack and a rest. And we're probably gonna push forward because we still got a couple hours of daylight. Not completely sure, but we'll figure that out. For now, time to hydrate. Pop-Tarts, solid, very solid trail snack. Nutritious, tasty. Couldn't ask for more. All right. Back on the trail. It's tempting to stay here in this really nice, pristine camp spot, but it's a little too early to set up camp. We got more miles to crush. Some kind of skeleton. This hike is beautiful the whole way through, don't get me wrong, but this time in particular, as we're approaching sunset hour, words cannot describe how insanely gorgeous everything is right now. I'm sure you can see behind me. This is what it's about. You! Crocs are the best backpacking luxury item that you could carry. Ugh. Woo. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, these hiking boots are slightly too small. So my toes are just pressing up against the toe caps by the end of the day because your feet swell the longer you hike. Set up. We got really lucky finding this spot because when we left the other spot, we were debating, should we push forward because we wanted to hike more? But it didn't look like there was any good camping spots until the next like designated camp spot, which was quite a ways away. I think it was like 5 miles or so from where we were, and we didn't want to hike that far. We, at a certain point, just before finding the spot, we were like, well, I guess we're gonna have to just hike all the way to that next spot. It would have been dark, we wouldn't have had any light to set up, but sure enough, within minutes, we found this absolutely gorgeous spot, and it couldn't have worked out better. The creek is right over there, so we're able to have access to fresh water, which is also a huge benefit as well when choosing a camp spot. This is a lot bulkier than the traditional inflatable backpacking pillow, but it's so much more comfortable. Those inflatable ones, they give you kinks in your neck. This thing, it's almost as good as a pillow from home. Oh shit, no! Well, that's a bummer. Looks like I'm only eating one. One less pound to carry. All right, see you guys in the morning. Good night. Probably does not look good on camera. Taste test. I had a pretty awesome night of sleep last night. The sound of the ocean was honestly like a lullaby, and it put me right to sleep. I woke up at one point and it sounded like the tide had come in super close because the waves were sounding way louder. I had to use the bathroom, so I hopped out of the tent. It was pretty much a full moon, so like It was super bright out. The visibility was extremely high, which was really cool. There was like some kind of animals howling. I think it was coyotes, but I'm not completely sure. But it was just a really, really cool moment. Great first night though, all in all. We're gonna pack up, start hiking again pretty soon. I think we're gonna hike about 10 to 12 miles, and that should put us right towards the other trailhead. We'll have an easy 3 miles out tomorrow. It's supposed to rain tomorrow morning, so we wanted to make sure to have as little hiking in the morning in the rain as possible. So that's what's on the agenda for today. Got my coffee. Oatmeal was good. I love backpacking. I'm really stoked for the season. Spotters are on. Day 2, let's get it. You. All the golden poppies are starting to come out. That means spring's a coming. For lunch today, I'm gonna be having these chicken salad packets. One has buffalo sauce, one is plain. I'm gonna be wrapping it up in a good old tortilla. Boom, now we just wrap that guy up. Once you wrap it in a tortilla, everything tastes better wrapped in a tortilla. That's a backpacking hack. That's a life hack, honestly. I forgot the cheese. The chicken salad probably wasn't enough food by itself, so I'm having another wrap, but this time with salami, some more cheese. I'm telling you, tortillas on trail, this is like a Swiss Army knife in your kitchen kit. Back on trail after that brief intermission, ready to crush some more miles. So we need to continue hiking, but we have to hike around the beach over there, right where all those waves are crashing in. That's one of the tidal zones, and the tide is pretty high for the time that we anticipated, so we're having to basically just sit here and wait for a little bit while the tide resides out into the sea. Woo! Just like straight burned my mouth. That was a woo of pain.
No tasting dinner tonight.
Watch out, buddy. Hey, bud. Hey, bud.
I had a class with him the other semester, and he was telling me about.
Say hi to YouTube.
Sort of like kayak rental.
Yeah, that's Ellis. That's
Say hi to YouTube, bud.
Ellis.
Yeah, he sails out there.
Good buddy.
Ellis.
Good boy.
Yeah, that guy's super cool.
We've just been hiking through the tidal zone for the past 4 to 5 miles. We're now up on this beautiful grassy ridge. We actually met another cool hiker and her dog. The dog is the dog that you met earlier. His name's Bud. He is incredibly impressive because there's some pretty rocky points on the trail and he powers through them, no problem. But it's getting kind of late, so we're probably gonna try to set up camp pretty soon. We're just seeing how far we could get. The tides kind of put us back a little bit, but we've been putting away miles nonetheless. All right, guys, well, we've been hiking for quite a while now, and we're in a little bit of a predicament because we can't really find a good spot to camp, and you can probably tell by the footage, it is just about to be dark. We wanted to set up and have light to cook and do all that, but clearly that's not the case, and right now the priority is just figuring out where we're gonna set up. The views out here are insane. These are by far the best views on the trail so far. And it makes you just feel like you're in a whole nother world. We've decided that we're just gonna keep on hiking until we find a good spot. The spot that we're at, it's a little bit iffy. It's on a slope, it's super exposed. It's supposed to rain a bit tonight, so we don't wanna be just like out completely exposed. So we're gonna keep hiking until we find a better spot, and if worse comes to worse, we're just gonna finish the trail tonight because already it's gonna be dark anyway, so we're gonna be hiking in the dark regardless. Look at that dude. What's up, dude? Should I kiss you? He's gonna jump on my foot. We finished. We ended up finishing the hike last night, and the reason that we didn't just stay another night like we originally planned was that once we got to a certain point, there just weren't really many good spots to set up. And also we knew that it was gonna be raining that last night plus this morning, so if we stayed in the sand, that would have been a mess. And also just spending the night and packing out in the morning when it's raining is just not really fun or ideal. So we figured that we might as well just bust through, finish the hike, which we did. We finished around 10 p.m., drove 2 hours back to my car. We took Kang's car because we had one car at each trailhead. He decided that he was gonna go home. It was midnight when we got to my truck, and he was determined to get home, so he left at midnight, and he probably got back at like 2 or 2:30, I'm guessing. I spent the night here in my truck, and it was a great night of sleep. But anyways, that trail was absolutely gorgeous. It was super worth it, in my opinion. Not that strenuous, a little bit annoying at times with the terrain, but all in all, a definite must do if you're into hiking or backpacking and that kind of thing. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys like always for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button. You guys go out there and go on some adventures of your own. Live life, beat the status quo. You all know the drill. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.